Hi, I am Carolina, and here is the following of my story. If you haven't followed the first part yet, I invite you to do so. I'll put the link in the description down so you'll know how I ended up here. But before, subscribe and above all, leave me a comment. A few hours later, I don't know how, but I found myself in a room, lying on a bed. I got up immediately when I realized that I was not at Aunt Pamela's. I got scared again and headed for the door to escape. Unfortunately, it was closed. So I started shouting, "Is anyone there? Open up, please." Suddenly, someone opened the door. It was Mr. Mark. "Already awake, my dear? We will have lots of fun," he said. "Please let me go." "Leaving? But where?" "I would like to see my aunt, please." "No, you're mine now." He walked towards me. It was at that moment that I realized what had happened to me. He had destroyed me. He had taken away my innocence, my life. I didn't know how long I had been in that room, but all I knew was that I had become this man's sex object. Where was my aunt? What had she done to me? One evening, when I was feeling very weak, I heard a woman's voice. It was Adriana's. "Get up, Carolina. Please stand up. I'll get you out of here. Please make an effort." I felt my strength slowly overwhelm me. I had to get out of there. I got up leaning on Adriana as we got out of the place. Despite my efforts, I still felt weak. I was hurt all over. I had suffered the most horrible rapes night and day. And what's worse is it wasn't just one man, but several men. Nevertheless, my memories were vague because I was on drugs all the time. And apparently I still am. We somehow managed to escape and immediately went to Adriana's. "Try lying down." We were very lucky. "Luckily, the guard helped us," she said. I don't know how long I slept. I later woke up haunted by the same nightmare. I saw this Mr. Mark each time I closed my eyes. My aunt had contributed to my demise. What was I going to do? Where was I going to go? I could no longer return to her. It was she who had delivered me to this man. She heard Adriana come in. "Carolina, finally you were awake. How do you feel?" she asked me. "I feel tired and have a really bad headache." She took pills from her chest of drawers and handed them to me. I rushed to drink them because I felt really bad. "Adriana, please tell me. How did you find me?" I asked her. She looked sad and revolted before telling me what had happened. "Do you remember the night we saw each other at Aunt Pamela's?" "Well, early that morning, I overheard Aunt Pamela chatting with her friend. They were happy that she had sold you to Mark because she made a lot of money from it." "How do you know Mark's house?" "To tell you the truth, I suffered the same fate as you. When I came here, I was also sold to that man, but I didn't have the same luck as you. He released me when he got tired of me. At least I believe." "I didn't know you knew Aunt Pamela." "How did you meet her?" "Carolina. Your aunt is a pimp. Each time she comes to Brazil, she takes young girls from poor families, claiming that she is bringing them to Europe so that she can find a job for them. But she never mentioned that it is about prostitution. We come here before we find that out. At one point, I wanted to run away, but where would I go to? Most of us had no other choice." As I listened to Adriana speak, tears were streaming from my eyes. Aunt Pamela was actually a pimp. But how? Why? She was someone else. I could not believe it. Destroy the lives of several young girls like this? When did she become so cruel? Her love for money had turned her into a real monster. Yet I admired her immensely. I was very disappointed and disgusted. I understood better where all this money came from. What am I going to do, Adriana? What will I become? For now, you can stay with me. We will see the rest later. Adriana went out every evening and only came back in the morning. She told me about everything Aunt Pamela was doing to find me. It even seems that Mark had claimed part of the money since I had fled. Something she did not accept, to the point where they got into a serious argument. She was mad with rage because she couldn't find me anywhere. I wondered if it was because she had lost some of the money she had earned, or because she regretted her action. All my identity papers had been confiscated, so I couldn't go out easily on the street. Since I was still a minor, Adriana suggested that I go to the embassy and state my problem. One morning, when she had just come home from work, we went there. We met a young lady. She listened to us with great emotion and agreed to help us, on condition that we agreed to denounce Aunt Pamela. I knew that all of this would have an impact on her life. I knew she was facing jail. but the lives of many people depended on it, including mine. So I agreed to denounce Aunt Pamela and her partners in crime. After several investigations, she was finally arrested, and her partners too. I was finally placed in a foster care for minors and had the privilege of continuing my studies. Among all the girls, some had agreed to leave prostitution to do odd jobs and build a life. Others, on the other hand, voluntarily wanted to continue. Adriana was one of those who had changed her life. She worked in a small restaurant as a waitress. This allowed her to earn a decent living. She even managed to send the money to her family back in Brazil. Time went on, and I was enjoying my new life. I was surrounded by young girls and boys of my age, and I admit that I really liked it. It was sort of my new family. I missed my parents and my brothers very much. But just so they wouldn't worry, I didn't tell them the truth. I went in for studies in agronomy, and a few years later, I obtained my degree in agronomy engineering. Sometime after my studies, I decided to set up an agricultural project to have a huge apple plantation. With the help and the subsidy of certain organizations, I was able to quickly realize this project. I harvested the apples and sold them to the big trading firms, and with time, I was able to make a lot of money. One morning, I decided to go see Aunt Pamela in prison. She was very surprised by my visit. As soon as she saw me, she started crying. At that moment, I felt sorry for her. After all, she was my mother's sister. "Hello, Aunt Pamela," I said. She looked at me but couldn't say a word. "How are you?" "Forgive me, my daughter. Forgive me. I know I hurt you a lot," she says. I looked at her and I admitted that I somewhat regretted having had her locked up. "You are a big girl now. I learned that you studied agronomy, and you now have plantations on an industrial scale. Sometimes life takes care of punishing us. I am not complaining that I am here, but that it could have brought you a lot of happiness. I could have been by your side and accompanied you in your studies and your projects. But look where my selfishness has led me," she continued. I returned home that day, filled with immense pain. Life is sometimes unfair and even cruel. I decided to go visit my family again sometime after. When I arrived, it was a very warm welcome. My siblings were all happy. Everyone was so eager to know everything about my life there, what I was doing, and what I did to become so successful. The idea that enchanted me was to set up a large agricultural project in order to employ several young people. I wanted to train several young girls and boys, and therefore show them how to exploit the land and make a lot of money. As I was resting in one of the bedrooms in the house, my mother came and asked me, "Carolina, how is your aunt? I haven't heard from her for many years. How is she?" "She's all right, Mom." "No, I do not believe you. I know a lot of things happened there, but you don't want to tell me. You have to tell me what happened, I and your mother." I simply told her that she was fine. I couldn't tell her the truth for fear of hurting her. I couldn't tell her her sister went to prison because of me. I was overwhelmed by an inexplicable pain. I took advantage of this moment to unpack all the suitcases I had brought, to try to dissuade her. "Mom, look at everything I brought you." She smiled radiantly, but nothing more. She got up and walked out of the room, but I knew she wasn't convinced of what I had told her. I didn't want to go back to those memories anymore because I had found the strength to forgive Aunt Pamela. What would you have done in my place?